better understand people in the world around you. So the essential fact, then I'll explain kind of some of the ramifications, is that the brain is small, but the world is big. Not only physically small, the brain's like 3 pounds, but it's, like David Eagleman says, he's one of the leading researchers in the world of the brain, but he also makes it very popular so people can understand it. The brain is basically in the dark, encased. All it has is information like from the senses, from the eyes, the mouth. It's all electrical impulses. It doesn't actually live in the world. It lives in your skull. It lives in like a black, total darkness, and it just has the electrical impulses to make sense of the world. So there's a lot that we miss. That's the point that he makes. Like our senses, obviously, like I think it's like 1 trillionth of the data or something like that. The visible spectrum. Like we just see red, blue, orange, green. We don't see infrared. We can't sense it. We don't sense magnetic waves. We don't sense uh, ultraviolet. We don't sense X-rays and gamma rays and those kind of things. But other species have different kinds of senses than we do. So some of them can see, or can experience magnetic waves, or they can experience, parts of the spectrum that we can't experience to certain degrees. So what you have to understand is that our knowledge is always very, very partial, very, very limited. And so you have to go into it with a great sense of humility. It's kind of like the famous thing they said, how do you understand an elephant? The elephant is so big that each person understands. One person says, oh, the elephant is a trunk. One person says, oh, no, the elephant is a tail. The other person says, no, the elephant is a leg. And what it is that the world is so big that we have to understand that we're very limited. Now, there's a couple other things. One is that we have an ego bias, is that we tend to think that our own thoughts, our own ideas are the world, but they're not really the world, they're just our own ideas about the world. So we have to test them out, and we have to become open to new ideas and to learning and listening to other people. It's like if you want to understand other people in the world, you have to develop processes to do that. And there's a lot of different ways it can be done. I'm not going to go into all of them. Not that I know all of them, but I know some of them, as you do as well. But one thing is that you really have to kind of get a sense of like standing outside of your own ego a little bit to look at things. Like one technique you could use is that if I had this problem or I had this situation that I have, if a friend had it, what advice would I give to them? That gives you like a little bit the ability to step outside your own perspective. Another thing, obviously, is just having good listening skills, putting you in mindfulness. See, mindfulness is good, and meditation can contribute to this. Other things can contribute. Mindfulness is when you're aware of what is. Most people are missing the present moment because they're so focused on what they want to do in the future. They're so focused on what happened to them in the past. If you can train yourself to be very mindful, then you can become aware of a lot of things what's going on. I found this even with other people. That when I stopped thinking about like what the person had done in the past or what I wanted for them in the future, but actually just looked at them without preconditions as much as possible, and I've developed techniques to try to do that more and more. Then they speak to you. They speak to you just in their body language. They speak to you in their facial expressions, in their tone of voice. And the world is like that also. The world will always be speaking to you, but we're not always listening.